This is God Rock. Welcome to God Rock, your weekly dose of music and motivation.
No stairway. Denied.
Crank it up. Shake the heavens.
You get to stand there and read at Sodom and Gomorrah. I had to do all the work.
What work did you do? You lit a few fires.
I rained down sulfur, man. There's a subtle difference.
You're listening to God Rock. You're listening to God Rock.
We're talking a little bit about your new film project called Connect, and it's kind of about the social media phenomenon out there. And I guess the first question I want to ask you after having watched the trailer and all that is, where did you kind of come up with the idea for something like this? Where did this one come from?
So this new film is called Connect, Real Help for Parenting Kids in a Social Media World. My wife and I have 6 kids, 5 are teenagers right now. And if you have children, anybody has kids, and they have a phone, which they likely do, you and I share the same concern for the effect that social media and technology is having on them. You know, they spend so much time on their phones, and you don't know everyone that they're talking to and the things that they're able to see, and it's a world that is, frankly, quite unfamiliar to a lot of parents, and we're busy and we're distracted and overwhelmed, and we're often just kind of not part of our kids' virtual social media technology world, and it's producing a lot of problems, reports are saying today. So I made a movie, talked to some experts, and I've got some real help for parents with regard to raising their kids today.
Now, during your research and creation of this film, what are some of the biggest struggles that you came across that parents are going to face with with social media?
Well, there's the obvious dangers that parents think about all the time. You lay awake at 3 in the morning hoping that this is not true of your kids, but there's stuff like the dangers of exposure to pornography, exposure to dangerous adults that prey on children through social media. There's even a story in the documentary about that, a guy whose son created a false identity on Facebook, and it connected him with someone who he thought was another 15-year-old boy, turns out to be an adult predator looking to abduct him by meeting him after school. There's also the much-discussed addictive quality. Kids are now spending 9 to 10 hours a day on their phones. But then also the not-so-obvious but stuff that blew my mind, and that is experts are saying this is the loneliest generation ever. I mean, it's counterintuitive. They seem to be connected to all these friends, but they're not friends. They're strangers who have been identified, and their friendship with them is like paper thin. It's all based on an image, on a photo. And what our kids are missing is the social experiences of deep, real, lasting friendships and relationships. And that's why I'm calling this movie Connect.
Now, with a lot of the things that have been going on here recently in the news media, some of these school shootings and stuff, it all seems to go back to a connection to social media at some point in time. And from my point of view, Christian point of view, and I'm sure your view as a Christian as well, what's some advice you could give those parents out there? And I don't want to spoil the movie. I want people to go see it. But what's just some short advice that could be to help, especially teenagers out there, parents of teenagers who have seen this? What could they tell their kids or to keep them from being a victim of social media?
So it's important to remember that we are pioneer parents. I mean, nobody's really got the whole thing figured out. We are the guinea pig generation who is going through this for the very first time in history of humanity. No one's had this kind of access at the fingertips for their children. So that's why I really want you to see the movie Connect if you have kids, because it will start a conversation with you and them, and you're going to hear, and so will your kids, stories from young people and adults, parents and teenagers who talk about what they've been through with technology, how it affected them. And you can say things to your kids like, do you relate to that? Do you feel that way? These are kids who have been addicted to pornography, kids who have experienced the kind of anxiety and isolation that leads to attempted suicide, and a whole host of other things that is becoming common for our kids today. So after all is said and done, the big takeaway that I'm getting from all of the experts, the neuroscientists, the family therapists, the counselors, the psychologists, they're saying, connect with your kids. Connect with your kids. They need you. Not to be their buddy that hey, that's not going to invade their privacy, but a loving, caring parent who's going to protect them from danger and be in relationship with them so that together they can navigate this brave new frontier called social media and technology.
Now, Kirk, some good things, bad things, both ways on social media. Is there a happy medium out there to having Facebook and social media?
I think so, and you and I try to balance it all the time. I'm not on Facebook all the time, but I use it, and we're using technology right now, and our kids need to learn how to do that too. So some parents say, well, I'm just not giving my kids a phone. Well, you can do that, but that's not going to work as soon as your kids are out from under your authority, or maybe they're at school. They got 25 friends who have phones. What they really need is something that a parent is best positioned to give them, and that is a filter that is baked into their character that makes them want to do the right thing with regard to who they connect with and what they're exposing themselves to on social media. And that's something that we need to teach them by example. We need to be those kinds of people of integrity. And we need to have accountability with our devices, and we need to put relationships above Facebook. And Connect is all about teaching parents and encouraging them to do that.
All right, Kirk, I know you, again, don't have a lot of time for me this morning, but I do want to thank you for being a guest on God Rock this morning and talking a little bit about your new movie, Connect, and we wish you the best with all your projects from here forward.
Thank you.
God Rock is a presentation of Two Legit Productions and KKBS Radio, heard weekly on this station. God Rock is copyright MLS Communications. Questions, comments, concerns? Email us, godrock@kkbs.com.
You've got prayers.